Hi, I'm Chef Jeff, the Rogue Chef. Welcome to Let's Go Rogue. I'm a private chef out of Branson, Missouri, and I have over 25 years of experience in the culinary industry, a member of the ACF. I've received 2 ACF scholarships while I was going to culinary school. As a private chef, I've been able to start a non-for-profit foundation for the hearing impaired. It's called Miss Emma's Foundation. Because of our granddaughter, who was born with a hearing impairment, so we've been blessed to be able to provide information and resources for the hearing impaired. Today, I've got a great menu for you. I like to do things traditionally, but with a little twist. So starting us off today, we're gonna do a bacon wrap date stuffed with honey fig goat cheese with a whiskey glaze on top. You gotta have your whiskey. Second, we're gonna have Cat Head Biscuits. Yes, it's a Cat Head biscuit. We'll get into that later. And chorizo gravy. And then for the final dish, we're gonna do a twist on a traditional chicken tender. We're gonna wrap them and crust it with pretzels with a hot honey. Trust me, after you eat it with pretzel and crust it, you'll never go back to traditional. So let's get ready, let's go rogue, let's get cooking. We're gonna start our bacon wrap date. So of course what we have here is bacon, and then the filling is some goat cheese. We got some fig with some balsamic vinegar, some limes, and a little bit of some salts here. It's a smoky citrus from Tough Mama Salts. So first of all, what we're gonna do is put the bacon on a sheet tray, and then we'll get that par cooked. We're gonna par cook it, so when we cook it on the dates, it gets nice and crispy without overcooking the filling and the date. So let's start with putting our bacon on the tray. I always like to par cook the bacon. It makes it easier to wrap, and plus it gets the bacon nice and crispy on the date without cooking it too long. You don't want to overcook these dates once we get the filling in there, because it'll just ooze out. So we'll just get us some bacon here in the oven. And I like cooking bacon in the oven because it's a lot cleaner and it comes out even and it gets nice and flat. So we'll get this in the oven, and when we come back, we'll get the stuffing going, the filling. Right, so while the bacon is cooking in the oven, we're going to start our filling. And what I have here, that was just some goat cheese. We'll do a little lime juice, and just for a little bit of the acid, depending on how juicy they are, you don't need too much. So we're just gonna use half of that. I've got some smoky citrus salt that you can get from Tough Mama Salt. You just want a little bit. It gives it a nice little smoke flavor, and it adds a little bit of that citrus. And then we have here a fig spray with some balsamic vinegar in it. So we'll just get that full, and we'll add a little bit of honey. You can also heat your honey a little bit to get it to flow a little better. And so we're just gonna mix this all together on about medium speed. This just takes a couple minutes to get together. You just wanna make sure it's all incorporated. I'm gonna stop it and scrape it down just a little bit. So we'll just get this mixing for a little bit, and then after this is done mixing, we will prep the dates for the filling and to be wrapped. See you when we get back. Welcome back. I've got the bacon out. As you can see, it's about halfway cooked. This is perfect. This will be perfect for when we wrap our dates. So let's get to it. So what you'll want to do is get your dates. You can buy, these are pitted already, but if they have the pits, we're gonna have to take the pits out. So what you would do is take a small knife and just slide across the top, only going halfway through. You want to open up a pocket for the filling. And then usually there would be, sometimes you have a pit inside of it. You'll just take the pit out, and sometimes they even have where the flour was attached. You need to take that off too. You don't want to eat that. So just slice it and then prop it open. These are very healthy. It's a good sugar substitute if you're worried about your sugar. So what we're going to do now is take the filling out, and I like to use a piping bag for this. So I'm just scraping the sides to get it ready to go into a piping bag. And you can just get these piping bags like Hobby Lobby or someplace, and you want to roll the sleeve open, stick your hand in it and open it up, and then I also will already pre-cut the tip off so we can stuff it, so we can fill the pastry bag. So we'll just put the filling in the bag and then roll it, and then you'll shake it down. And we'll push it down to the end, and we'll get ready to stuff. So when stuffing the dates, I like to hold them in my hand, and you just want to fill them. You don't want to overfill, because if you overfill, it oozes out and it just doesn't work right. Welcome back. So now we're going to roll and wrap our dates. So you just want to take the piece of bacon, put it down flat, start at one end, and you just want to roll it. It doesn't have to, you don't want to necessarily use the whole piece of bacon, because it just messes up the proportions. So this is our #1 requested appetizer at the Rogue Chef. So people always order these. They're really sweet and savory, and they're healthy again. So the goat cheese, even though it's got a little bit of bacon, but who doesn't love bacon? I mean, it makes the world go round. And I've actually taught these a few. I taught at a local college, and we did 650 of these for one event. So you get to learn it really quick. We probably did more than that, because the students probably ate another 50 while they were making them. So there we go. We have them wrapped and toothpicked. And I'm sorry, you put the toothpick in it. And now we're going to put these back in the oven. They'll bake for approximately another 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15. You just want to get the bacon crisp, the date hot, the filling hot. And then we will top it off with our whiskey glaze. And we're back. Our dates are out of the oven. They're nice and crispy. They're hot. So what we're going to do is transfer them to our serving platter so we can put our outstanding whiskey glaze, which is nothing but whiskey, a little bit of sugar, and some balsamic vinegar. That's reduced down. I do 3 of 750s of whiskey to reduce it down to a little bit of that. So we'll move it over, and we're just gonna plate them here on this platter. And remember, I used Tough Mama salts. Make sure to check them out. The Smoky Citrus is in here. She has a wide variety of salts, including our line of salts. So now we're gonna drizzle. So you just want to take your glaze and drizzle over the top. You just want to let them set for about 5 minutes though, because that is really hot on the inside and you can burn your mouth, but you will want to dig into them as soon as they come out of the oven. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy this. Do this at home. It's not that hard. It's and it's a great appetizer for your next family gathering, or even if someone at your business. Hi, Chef Jeff, the Rogue Chef here. Right now we're going to do our pretzel and crusted chicken tenders. So we have our chicken tenders, some seasoned flour, some egg wash, and then our pretzels. And to get our pretzel crumbs, you just take some pretzels, use these thin pretzels or the flat pretzels, they work best. So we just put some into a food processor, and then it's a little loud, but you want to get them down to a fine, like almost like a breadcrumb or a nice little breadcrumb. So first what we'll do, and we've got our oil preheated to about 350, 360 degrees. You want to take your chicken tenders, dredge them in the seasoned flour, and then into the egg wash. And that's just 3 eggs beaten with a little bit of water. You want to make sure you get them all coated. And then from the egg wash to our pretzel crumbs. And we'll just repeat this process for all of them. So I like to cover them, and then I like to press it, and that helps get the crumbs onto your chicken. You see, they're nicely coated. Now I'm gonna get the rest of these done, and I'll be right back. Hi, Chef Jeff, the Rogue Chef here. Now I've got all of my chicken tenders breaded. They've actually sat for a little bit. That helps the breading stick. I've got my oil again preheated to 350, 360. Now we're gonna start cooking them. You just wanna put them in. And they will cook fairly quickly. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. 4 is good for that. And we'll just let that cook for a couple minutes. And then while they're cooking, I'm going to start my hot honey. And you just want just get your honey. And it's going to be about a 1/4 cup of honey or so. I have a spice blend here of some New Mexican red chili, New Mexico green, and a little bit of habanero. Just add some of that. And then here, a little secret. It's a hot sauce. It's a truffle hot sauce. So it's black truffle and hot sauce. And we'll add that to the dish. And then you just stir it together. And you can heat it to make it a little bit more viscous. You can go ahead and heat it if you want to. And we'll taste it. Oh yeah, it can be a little bit hotter though. We'll just set this to set aside. Check our chicken. As you see, it's getting GBD, golden brown and delicious. We just got a couple more minutes on this side and we'll get ready to plate it. And we'll be right back when all the chicken is done. Chef Jeff, the Rogue Chef. Here we're back again. Now I've pulled out our chicken strips from the grease, drained them on a little bit of paper towels, and they're nice and crispy. And right now we're going to finish it with our hot honey sauce. So you just want to take it, go up high, and just drizzle it all over the top of it. Now that I've finished with the drizzle, It's all ready to eat. Eat it with one of those Cat Head Biscuits, or plain, or maybe with some waffles. Thank you for watching. Let's go Rogue. See you soon. Hello, Chef Jeff here, the Rogue Chef. Right now we're going to do our Cat Head Biscuits with our chorizo gravy. So what we have here, we have some chorizo sausage, some Italian sausage. I always use Italian sausage in my biscuits and gravy because it's much more flavorful than breakfast sausage and just adds something different to it. Well, to thicken this, we're going to use a roux, and I'm just going to use some butter, but I use gluten-free flour. So those who have gluten intolerances, celiacs, they're able to have the gravy with gluten-free bread or a gluten-free biscuit. Then some salt, and then in the biscuits, I'm going to add some beer salt. And this is actually one of my salts that we use, that we developed with Tough Mama Salts. We have 4 different salts in that. You can check us out on our website and you can purchase it. We ship all over the country. And then for the biscuit, we're gonna have our all-purpose flour, some baking powder, baking soda, some butter, which we'll cube up here shortly, and then some buttermilk. As I said before, they're Cat Head Biscuits. The reason they call them Cat Head Biscuits is because they're huge. They're gonna be really, really big, and we'll cook them in a cast iron skillet. They come out wonderful, beautiful. You're gonna love it, especially with the chorizo gravy. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna start our sausage gravy. And so I'm gonna take about half of this chorizo here. And half of the Italian sausage. Maybe a little bit more chorizo. You can never go wrong with lots of chorizo. And we're just gonna get this going in our pan to get it browned. And get that, as I have a former colleague used to say, GBD, golden brown and delicious. So we're gonna get that going. Put this off to the side. But while that is browning and getting ready, we'll start our Cat Head Biscuits. So what we have here already is some AP flour, just all-purpose flour. And then we're gonna do a teaspoon of baking soda and 2 tablespoons of baking powder. So we're just gonna stir this and incorporate it a little bit, and then I'm gonna add my salt, which is about a teaspoon. And that'll add a little bit of a beer flavor to it, not much, just a little subtletiness. And stir it in. And when we get back, we'll cut our butter in. All right, welcome back. Here we are. We have our cold butter that's been cubed and our flour mixture, and we're just going to add these into it, and then what's called cutting, and we're going to mix them all into. And if you have kids, this is a perfect time to get them into the kitchen and get them learning, because they get to use their hands. So just get in, and what you're wanting to do is take those butter cubes and mix it with the flour, but you want to get them really tiny into small pea-sized granules inside and with the flour. This takes a little bit, but not too long. Just squeeze them between your fingers, and it'll break them up and mix in with the flour. And as you can see over here also, our sausage is getting really nice and brown, and we're gonna season that here shortly. If you could smell it, it smells really good in here if you like chorizo. And we're almost there. And this will give your hands a workout too if you're not used to doing this. And another way you can, instead of cutting in the cubes, one way you can do this is take a cheese grater and you can grate the cold butter into the flour. All right, I think we're pretty much there. And then next, we're gonna add our buttermilk and mix it together. Now I'm starting with 2.5 cups, but we may need a little bit more. It's a little bit dry, so we're gonna add just a little bit more buttermilk. And you see, this is about the consistency you want. It's a little bit loose. That's a wet dough. All right, so now we've got this mixed up in the right consistency. I'm gonna grab our skillet, and you wanna use a cast iron skillet with this. And here I have I just sprayed it with some non-stick spray just to be perfect. Then I got about a half cup scoop. And what we're gonna do is just get a good healthy scoop. I start in the middle, and you just wanna place them all around the center. And we'll squeeze one more into here just for good measure. And then I'm gonna take these, bake them in the oven, the 400-degree oven. They'll take about 25 minutes to bake. While these are baking in the oven, we'll finish the gravy, get the roux going, and top it with a fried egg. All right, now that our biscuits are in the oven and baking, we're gonna finish our gravy. And I'm just gonna season this with a little bit of pepper for now. I like to really heavy check the seasoning right at the end. And then we're gonna add our heavy whipping cream. And then we're gonna add some half and half. I like using heavy whipping cream and half in the gravy. It just gives it a little bit more richness and just a little bit more umami. And if you could smell it in here, oh, it's delicious. So now, while this is back up on high, and what we're gonna do is get this to get hot. As you notice, I didn't add any flour to this. What I'm gonna do is make a roux, and what we're gonna do is do some butter, and again, the gluten-free flour. So we're just gonna put this in a hot pan and get that melting down. And then we're gonna add our gluten-free flour. And I like to do the roux at the end. It mixes in, it helps to thicken it up, but it also keeps you don't have to watch this. You can do other things while this is cooking. You don't have to be on it so much. And also another bonus to using the gluten-free flour is you don't have to let it cook. If you were using regular flour, you still have to let it cook for about 5-10 minutes to get that floury taste out of the flour. All right, so now that the gravy is boiling, it's nice and hot, we're gonna add our roux to thicken it. And we'll start with just a little bit, because you can always make it thicker. Once it's thick, it's thick. You can add some heavy cream, but the ratios. A thickening agent will be at its thickest at the boil. So once it's boiling, you can see, so we'll add just a little bit more. And you can see it thickening up, and it'll almost tighten up immediately once you get it to that right thickness. We'll add a little more. And our biscuits, I just checked our biscuits. Our biscuits are just about ready. And now we'll turn the heat off. And you can see the gravy's turned kind of an orange color from the chorizo. So now we'll set this aside and wait for our biscuits to come out of the oven. All right, now that our gravy is done, our biscuits have just come out of the oven. And so now we're gonna plate it. So we'll just get a couple biscuits here. And open them up. Look at all that, oh, steamy, fluffy. They're so light, fluffy. And then we'll take scoops of our gravy. I don't know about you, but I like more gravy than biscuit. And then I've got over here, I've got a couple fried eggs going. We're gonna put those on top here shortly. I got them on a medium-low heat. And I've got a nice sunny side oak. There you go, some good Southern Cat Head Biscuits with our chorizo gravy, a couple fried eggs on top from Branson, Missouri. Let's go rogue, and thank you for watching. I want to thank you for watching today. It was my pleasure to present some of my favorite brunch dishes for you. Today we did the bacon wrapped dates with the honey fig goat cheese and that whiskey glaze. Our Cat Head Biscuits with chorizo gravy and some fried eggs on top. And then finally, our pretzel-crusted chicken tenders with the hot honey sauce. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, all the social medias. Check out Miss Emma's page for hearing impaired. Learn some things, donate. And when you're in Branson, make sure to book your private chef experience with me, the Rogue Chef, and let All Access Branson take care of your lodging, any other shows, activities that you want to do. And when I'm not cooking a great meal for you, make sure to go to Local Flavor, and they will give you some great home-cooked country food. And then check out our website for our Tough Mama salts, and check out her site. She has hundreds of flavors of salts that add just that little special something to your dish that when your family comes to dinner and you're like, what is that? Well, that's what it is. That's a little secret ingredient. Again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon. Let's go rogue.